I was on the run for 16 days. We were hiding in farmhouses, sleeping in the barns, never slept in the house. We didn't speak the language very well.
So first of all, you start questioning yourself and think, is that really something? Because you don't want to alert everybody if it is, and then if you think actually no, that really is looking suspicious, then obviously you have to get on the radio to somebody and let them know what's going on.
He got killed, and everyone was very upset about it. And because I was the man in charge, they actually came to me and said that they were afraid and they were scared about going back out again on patrol. And then I had to reassure them that it was going to be okay. You know, you do get afraid.
But what struck me as I left the cemetery, there was a sign saying Bergen-Belsen, 6 kilometres away. Have you ever heard of Bergen-Belsen? Well, that's where it was one of these terrible concentration camps. You know, you might have seen about many victims killed by the Germans, you know. All my Navy photographs disappeared years ago, but this was me when I got called up. And then, after being kitted out in Portsmouth, I did my square bashing, as they called it, at a place called Wetherby, which isn't so far from here.
The people in my platoon, which was like the group that I was with, they all made me a birthday card, which was really nice.
Was it a very big one?
It was a very big one, yes. So that made me a bit happier, because I would have rather been with my family and having a party, but actually it was quite nice to have a card made for me by my friends.
And you then do what's called a week of normalisation. So you'll go back to work and you'll do all your administration and you'll just do normal kind of working routine. So the idea is you don't go from being really, really busy to being on leave, because it's almost two extremes. So that kind of eases you in, but I came home to be a parent, so when I left it was just my wife and I. When I came back I had a little baby, and that changes your life anyway, so I had to really get into that routine of feeds every 2 hours and all that kind of really good stuff. But it was great fun, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a picture of me. That's my mate Brucey, pulling the weird face in the middle, and that's my little brother. The youngest ones always get the hand-me-downs. We obviously didn't have enough camouflage clothes for him, so we got a Tonka truck hat and a water pistol. And it's one of my favourite photos. But it's up there now to just illustrate that kind of one of my motivations for joining the army. I know a few of you that I spoke to this morning were asking about why I joined the army, and I was talking about thinking it was cool and thought it was an exciting thing to do. And I think that kind of illustrates for us an image of childhood, doesn't it? What you're doing at the moment is looking at war poetry. I'm going to show you the example of how I got from doing that, writing about one bizarre little episode of my life, to having a poem that I hope says something about a much wider issue.
And we're in a world where the vast majority of people were extremely afraid. People were afraid to fly, they weren't getting on planes. People were fleeing from the region around Afghanistan. In the middle of all of that, a small group of us were going in the opposite direction. We were trying to get to Afghanistan, to be there when this war started, to witness what happened. And I heard him shout help, and I turned around and they grabbed him and they were pulling him away. So I grabbed him to try and pull him on the bus. And we basically got stuck with a sort of tug-of-war situation with him in the middle. But the problem is that there's only one of me, and there were about 100 of them, so I wasn't going to win. And one of them had a rock, and he started hitting my friend on the head with the rock, which was a very bad situation. And basically, I couldn't hold on. I mean, it was impossible. He went into the crowd. It's a very strange thing when you get faced with a choice like this. It's actually, you know you have to get off and help. You're not going to go and leave your friend.
The other ones, evil shed away. What are the good things you think of with that?
Good evening, ladies
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Malton School. Over the past 3 days we have taken a close look at conflict, and we have the opportunity to study different war poems, speak to war veterans and speak to a teacher who was in the army himself, and we used his experience to write poems.
Long time on the front line, long time at war, long time fighting for my country, long time shooting more. Every day I think about just going home, stood here on the front line, feeling so alone. Long time counting days, long time missing home, long time sleeping in my bed, laying all alone.
As I stare at the clock, it still looks the same. 3 years later, nothing has come. I picture him getting killed in a charge of gunfire. No, nothing yet. I hope he's safe. Going to the window, I see him there. I'm so thankful for the end of the war.
Empty words, the tired stories of a superfluous multitude, devoid and dying, lest we forget, or shall we forget, or drag up their heroisms through endless words and bury them under a blanket of prose. Is it remembering, or is it distorting, the supererogatory acts, wrenched up through centuries upon centuries of endless, satirical lines, a broken, diaphanous devoid?